So did that just happen? Did that just happen? Holy crap. Light the beam, baby. Light the beam. This was an absolute outline them in chalk performance by the Kings tonight. I mean, what can you say about this basketball team as they improved to 7-6? National television. We talked about it today on the show, myself and Rami. How do you make a statement? How do you make a statement if you're the Kings? You're on national television, TNT, for the first time in 4 years. You know how you make a statement? You drop 153 points on the Brooklyn Nets. 153. I mean, I got to check my eyes. Can you check your eyes? 153 to 121. This was just straight up embarrassing for the Brooklyn Nets, and a wonderful, unbelievable celebratory night by the Kings. I mean, I could just look at this over and over and over again, this box score, and what just happened. 153 points, most points by a team this season in an NBA game. And I talked about it. Look, I stopped counting once the Kings went on a 69-30 run. Yeah, this game was tied at 40 at one point. 69-30 was the run. And I said, okay, I'm not going to keep track anymore. I'm done with it. 69-30. I mean, this is just outline them in chalk at the free throw line and call it a night. This was everything you wanted it to be. I mean, I don't know, aside from the Keegan Murray back tweak, literally nothing went wrong. And I see all the comments, and I'm going to try to keep up with them, guys. Megadeth Knight saying awesome, and Ernesto saying awesome. I mean, this is just awesome win. Way to go. Kyle Mesa, that was awesome. You guys are so excited, and you should be. Check this out. James Smith, he's stoked. I mean, this was more than I anticipated. This was more than anybody could have anticipated. Yes, I thought they would win tonight. I thought the Kings would beat the Nets. I thought Kevin Durant was going to go off. Durant had a good night, but it didn't matter. When you drop 153, nothing matters on the opposite side. And what you saw was a statement made. You made a statement tonight, and you told the basketball world. Did you listen to the halftime show? Charles Barkley, right? Charles Barkley saying, man, Ernie, this team has got a ton of talent. You got Shaq talking about the Lithuanian lasagna down low with the Domas moves in the post. You earn respect, and you start to chip away at that reputation, right, of the 16 years and all the garbage that we've heard about the Kings and the Kings organization, and the national pundits flapping their gums saying the Kings should move the team out of Sacramento for 0.0 reason. This is how you chip away at that reputation. This is how you start to build credibility. And this is how you prove to the basketball world that you are legit. You are a legit offense. You are a legit basketball team. This was the 6th best offensive team in basketball entering the night. The 6th offensive rating, the 6th best offensive rating in the NBA this year. Yes, your Kings, they owned that, the 6th best offensive rating. When you drop 153 and you do what they did tonight, I mean, my freaking goodness, it's only going to get better. It is only going to get better. And Fong Tran jumps in, and I felt it. I heard it at Golden One. This was a fun night. Remind me of our glory days. Let's go Kings. Again, 7-6 through a pretty difficult schedule to start this season. You have a couple of home games left that you can take advantage of, hopefully. You feel really good. You feel really good about this team. So let's break it down. I'll continue to take a look at your comments. There's a lot of them flying in. Brother Fobs says the fans were loving it all night. The league is going to drug test the whole roster tomorrow. That comes in from Billy Hodge. Yeah, maybe they'll have a bunch of tests tomorrow morning when they wake up. But let's go over this. So it was a statement game, national television. You puff out your chests, right? We should all be as proud as peacocks. And the one thing I want to put to bed right away before we continue to talk about this game and what happened, my guy Run DMG, I love my guy Run DMG, says the Nets suck. Here's the thing. The Nets over the last 5 or 6 games, they've literally been the best defensive team in the NBA. Before Jacques Vaughn was named the head coach, this was a team that struggled defensively, and I wonder why. Kyrie Irving. But this was a team that struggled defensively, right? Ever since Jacques Vaughn took over as the head coach and was named the head coach officially, this defense, they've been giving up like 92 points a game. So the Kings were actually going against the defense that was playing its best basketball the last week and a half to 2 weeks, and they put up 153. 153. And the guy that changed the game, and we all know by now, the guy who changed the game tonight was Terence Davis. What about TD? What about my guy, Chris Watkins? What's he call him? The Mississippi Microwave? The Mississippi Microwave came into this game and he changed it. He at the second quarter, I tweeted this out at Nick C Radio. If you want to follow me at Nick C Radio, I tweeted out the Terence Davis super boost. He comes into the second quarter, right? You're up by 6. It's 36-30. D. Fox knocks down the 3 at the end of the first quarter, right? As the clock is expiring, kind of what D. Fox does this year. Just ask the Orlando Magic. And Terence Davis comes in. It's a 6-point lead, and he took over. Terence Davis gave you 10 points, 5 rebounds. He had a block in transition. He had 3 steals. He had 2 assists. He played fantastic basketball. The Terence Davis super boost was alive and well. And he played just out of his mind. We talk about out-of-body experiences. My guy TD had an out-of-body experience tonight. 31 points, 12 of 16 from the field, 7 of 10 from 3. But it wasn't just the scoring, because a lot of people will look at this game and a lot of people will say 31 points, 12 of 16, 7 of 10. You know what I loved about Terence Davis tonight? What I loved about Terence Davis tonight was that not only did he give you 31, he also grabbed 9 rebounds. That shows activity, right? When a guard gets 9 rebounds, that means my man was doing work. He was attacking. 9 rebounds, 3 dimes, 3 steals, 1 block. And again, we talk about this bench. It is a different guy every night. When Coach Brown went to Trey Lyles came in, gave him a boost in a couple of games. The bench played better. Then Malik Monk went on his run, right, of 3 or 4 really good games. Davion Mitchell against Charlotte comes in to take over De'Aaron Fox, who goes out with the injury. Davion gives you 23, 24 points in Charlotte to come back from a 15-point deficit at the half on the road. And then tonight, it's Terence Davis. Every single night, this bench will give you somebody that's going to hurt you. And that's what makes this bench different, and that's what makes this bench dangerous. When we talked about the talent and we talked about the depth at the beginning of the season, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about different guys every night with the ability to hurt you, to score the basketball, to do different things. And tonight, it was Terence Davis giving you 31 points off the forehead of the Brooklyn Nets, and he changed the game. The Terence Davis super boost happened, and the game was over. I mean, you look back. Again, it was 36-30. Yes, it was 40-40. Once it was 40-40, this thing was done. It was a wrap. It was over. And Terence Davis is the reason why. He's the guy that changed this game. Absolutely fantastic. And let's go to HEK here, because I've got to talk about this. We talk about great basketball and man movement and ball movement. Hits the nail on the head. 39 assists. 39 assists tonight for the Kings. And this isn't something new. I talked about it on the show today. The quick decision-making, getting rid of the basketball, all the touches, every single offensive possession. That's what it's about, man. And this ball movement and man movement and sharing with teammates and being able to find the open man for a great shot, turn down a good shot for an even better shot. That's what the Kings have been doing. 39 assists tonight on 56 buckets. That's absurd. That's absurd. It's an absurd number. It's a beautiful number. An absolute beautiful number. Mr. All Red Everything telling us that Barkley just said, tell Adam Silver to replace all Laker TV games with Kings games. Wouldn't that be a beautiful thing? Let's knock out LeBron James. Let's put the Kings on TNT. Every time you see the Lakers on that schedule, Turner, wipe them off the slate and put the Kings on, because this team is exciting. This team is fun. And this team is lighting the freaking beam. Light the beam. This was a straight up monstrous performance. 153-121. They take down Kevin Durant and the Nets. So some other things that I mentioned, right? And Jorge Ramirez Medina, I agree with you. Let's put that up there for a little while, because I think everybody feels this. What a damn game. Some other things that happened. So how'd they take over in the second quarter? Well, aside from Terence Davis and what Terence Davis did that we just mentioned, everything, the 31 points, the 9 rebounds, what else happened in that second quarter? You know what the Kings did over and over and over again, and it's something that we've seen other teams do to the Kings defense. The Kings bludgeoned the Nets in the paint. I can't believe I'm saying it. But that's what they did. They absolutely bludgeoned the Nets tonight in the paint. They took it. They took it to the Nets over and over and over again. They attacked downhill. I'm pulling up the stats here because I want to give you the exact number. 66 points in the paint. The Kings had 66 points in the paint. 66 points in the paint to 44 points in the paint for the Nets. So just think about that. The Kings were plus 22 in the paint tonight. I mean, just an incredible number. Plus 22 in the paint tonight. They started to attack downhill, and it was everybody. It was Domas at times. It was Fox at times. It was TD at times. It was attacking downhill, putting the pressure on the Nets defense to react. And Katie Christensen always says this on NBC Sports California, those broadcasts, and she's 100% right. Touch the paint, paint touches, touch the paint, paint touches. And that's what you see. Paint touches, attack downhill, get to the paint, suck the defenders in, find the open shooters. If you don't suck the defenders in, attack the basket, finish at the rim, or get fouled. Easy free throws, right? That's what it's all about. And that's really what the Kings did in this game. They did it consistently in the second half. They kept attacking, they kept coming downhill, and they kept scoring points in the paint. 66 paint points. It changed the game. Pace. The Kings came into tonight's game 10th in the NBA. 10th in the NBA in pace. And that was one of the bigger questions that I had about Coach Brown, because when you look historically at what his teams did in Cleveland and LA, they weren't really great with pace. They were usually towards the bottom of the league. But my man, Coach Mike Brown, he learned from Steve Kerr. He learned from his time in Golden State. And this team, you're looking at pace. And you saw it again tonight, the pace in the first half, the pace in the second half. They were 10th in the league walking into tonight's game in pace. They keep it going. They keep their foot on the pedal. They put the pressure on the opposition constantly. After made buckets, after turnovers, it's just constant coming at you over and over and over again. And you just saw it. You saw it tonight. The pace, the turnovers. They created a bunch of turnovers tonight. The Nets had 17 turnovers, and they had most of those in the first three quarters, because in the fourth quarter, things kind of died down. You know what I mean? It's like, the intensity is way gone when you're up by 30 plus points in the fourth quarter. But, they created turnovers, and they turned those turnovers into points. That also helped them. So man movement, ball movement, assists to bucket ratio, pace, turnovers into points, attacking downhill. This is all stuff that creates, as my guy Jorge Ramirez Medina puts up here, an efficient offensive machine. And I talked about these numbers, guys and gals, during today's show, right? I talked about what the Kings' offensive numbers looked like. And when you look at the analytics, and I'm not going to go too deep into it to kind of glaze your eyes over, we're too excited to do that after this unbelievable pulverizing of Kevin Durant and the Brooklyn Nets. If you look across the board analytically, I mean, pretty much the Kings are top 4 or 5 in almost everything. Yeah, they're 10th in pace, but true shooting percentage, effective field goal percentage, offensive efficiency, they're all either 3 or 4. They're ranked either 3rd or 4th in all of those categories. And again, they were the 6th. They were the 6th best team when it comes to offensive rating entering the night. This is not just a good offense, okay? And it's not just a good offense compared to prior Kings teams. This literally is one of the best offenses in the NBA. And do you think their numbers are going to go up after tonight? I would say so, because what they just did was outrageous from an offensive standpoint. I don't care if it's the YMCA 5 out there playing defense. When you put up 153 like the Kings did tonight, that speaks volumes. They shot 60% from the field. They shot 48.8% from 3. They shot 84% from the free throw line. I mean, I could just go over number after number after number, and it paints the picture of a team that just dusted a team that people thought were going to be a contender, and maybe they will when Kyrie gets back, but who knows? They just dusted these cats in front of a nationally televised audience. It is delicious. It is beautiful to see. You know what else is great? Domas. And, I want to talk about this on the show today, but I did not get to it Domas is like, he's been effective. He's been really good the last couple of weeks, but I still feel like he floats under the radar, right? I mean, think about when we talk about this team, if you're at a restaurant with your friends, if you're hanging out with your buddies in the backyard, whatever you're doing, right? What are you talking about when you talk about this team? You're talking about lighting the beam. You're talking about Band-Aids. You're talking about De'Aaron Fox. You're talking about, Kevin Huerter, who again tonight, Kevin Huerter was ridiculous. That trade continues to be one of the biggest laughing stocks ever. The Atlanta Hawks got hosed by Monte McNair. I mean, let's give a clap to Monte McNair and what he did to get Kevin Huerter for a lottery protected first-round pick. That is a joke. It is a beautiful steal by Monty. And when you look at, all of these other storylines, it's like you get to Domas, and Domas would be what, 5th or 6th? He'd be like 5th or 6th during the conversation. And this dude just continues to play really good basketball. And again, Shaq saying his post moves, the Lithuanian lasagna. Let's please, if we want to, we could, if we want to say a quick prayer. We should send out a quick prayer for Nick Claxton and the Claxton family. Hold on. Moment of silence for the Claxtons. All right. Domas absolutely embarrassed Nick Claxton tonight. Claxton was waving the white flag. He was looking for help behind him. He wanted to put armor on. He had no idea how to defend Domantas Sabonis. Domas just was like, okay, give me the basketball. Nick Claxton's going to try, but the dude's, he's obviously like 205 pounds soaking wet with a couple of bricks in his basketball shorts. There was no chance. There's no chance for Nick Claxton tonight. I felt bad for the dude. I don't know why Jacques Vaughn didn't go to Ben Simmons and try something else somehow, some way. But I mean, Nick Claxton got just absolutely embarrassed by Domas. Domas could do whatever he wanted. And I thought before TD got in the game, really it was Domas who again was spearheading the offense. Don't forget, right? Don't forget that at halftime, because so much happened after. At halftime, De'Aaron Fox, do you remember what De'Aaron Fox had at halftime? Do you remember what his stat line was? Fox at halftime had 8 points and 4 assists. See, that's a basketball team. That's depth. That's talent. That's sharing the basketball. When your number one guy is sitting at the half with 8 points and 4 assists, and you're up by 19, 73-54, that just says so much about this team. It tells you how many different guys can hurt you over and over and over again. What would happen to this team? What would happen to this team if you had De'Aaron Fox last year have like 8 points at the half? Are they winning? Or let alone winning by 19? Are they winning? This is the second game in a row that Fox has not had a great first half. And he's not, the cool thing about Fox, he's not trying to do too much. He's not, and that's when we waxed poetic. We waxed poetic. And by the way, Double A answers my question about what happens if Fox had 8 points to half last year. He says, we lose by 30, and he's probably right. Here's the best thing about Fox. He's getting it. He's getting it. Like how many guys would be the number one on a team and they'd be having 8 points and 4 assists at the half? He wasn't worried. He wasn't forcing his shot. He wasn't out of control. He wasn't turning the basketball over trying to get his. He saw his teammates picking up the slack. He saw Huerter going 4 or 5 from 3-point land in the first half, right? Like he sees this guy going 4 or 5 from 3. He sees Terence Davis, the super boost from the Mississippi microwave. Fox is watching all of this. He's seeing Domas. Like Nick Claxton literally tackled Domas at one point in this basketball game. I'm not kidding. You saw it. He couldn't do anything else. He literally tackled Domas. In one possession, he was hugging him. You guys remember the Domas De'Aaron Fox hug last year? We all remember it, right? Where Fox is just like, I love you, man. I love you, Domas. I love you so much. We all remember that hug, right? Well, Nick Claxton was hugging Domas like De'Aaron Fox last year on one possession, and Domas is like looking at the ref going, the dude literally has me in a beer hug. I don't think a bear hug is legal in this situation right now. But, Fox is watching Domas go to work. He's watching TD go to work. He's watching Kevin Huerter go to work. He ain't worried about it. He's not taking 15 outrageous shots, forcing his offense, doing something that's stupid. He's the guy that's like, nope, we got this. We're up by 19. My guys, we got this. And I said it on the show today with Rami, Cattles and Rami, 3 to 6, Monday through Friday, Sactown Sports. I said this to Rami today. De'Aaron Fox, as a leader, as a listener to the head coach, we go back and we look at Fox, and everybody wanted to the Bill Simmons of the world. He can't close. He's not that good. Blah. Look, he didn't have a support system. He didn't have talent around him. He didn't have a coaching staff that represented stability and experience and somebody that he could believe in. Now look at what happens. You give De'Aaron Fox support, you give him depth, you give him talent, you give him a coaching staff. The dude is playing the best basketball of his career. And when he sees his other guys doing work, he ain't worried about it. What he's worried about, as Lydia says, he's worried about lighting that beam. That's what De'Aaron Fox is worried about. He's lighting the beam. And so he's not worried about himself. He's not worried about the individual. And that is a true leader, being engaged defensively. The guy's causing turnovers. All of that stuff. Domas versus Claxton was an LOL matchup. I could have watched that with popcorn all night long. It was a beautiful thing. Did you notice what Coach Brown did at the beginning of the second half? I noticed something, and I loved it. So you're up by 19, and you're coming out of the half, and I think a lot of teams, you're up by 19. In the NBA, it's only kind of natural to take it for granted. We see it all the time. We see teams we saw it with Dallas tonight. Dallas was up by 20. All of a sudden, things change, and, there's this massive comeback. We see it all the time in the NBA, these big comebacks. I absolutely loved what Coach Brown did in the second half to start that third quarter. I don't know if you all noticed it, but what Coach Brown did was he made sure he was sending a message at the beginning of the third quarter by defending Kevin Durant a certain way. And what Coach Brown did is the pickup point. Matt Barnes always talks about this, the pickup point, the guy who has the basketball, the pickup point, what happens, right? How much do you impact the basketball? How much pressure do you put on the basketball? And what do you do, right? The pickup point up high. And what we saw at the beginning of that third quarter, I thought was a message from the coach to the team. We are not letting go of the rope. We are staying aggressive. We are putting our foot on their throat. We have a chance to make a statement on national television. We have an opportunity. We have an opportunity to absolutely outline Kevin Durant and chalk tonight and take his team to the woodshed. And what Mike Brown did and what this coaching staff did, the coaching staff and Mike Brown said the pickup point against KD. KD's coming past the half-court line. What happens? Did you notice? Boom. The Kings go right to the basketball. The pickup point. They were picking up Kevin Durant 35 feet, 40 feet away from the basket. That is a message. They're not letting Kevin Durant come downhill and attack them and get on a heater. What they did was they attacked Kevin Durant. The pickup point was very aggressive. They even blitzed Durant a couple of times. They're up by like 23, 24 points, and they're blitzing Durant at half court. Why are you doing that? You're doing that because you're sending the message to the team. The coaching staff is saying, guys, we are not letting up. We are attacking. And we're going to double Kevin Durant. We're going to make sure the pickup point is 35 feet away from the basket because we don't want him scoring 10 straight points and all of a sudden the Nets have momentum. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It was Coach Brown sending a message. It was Coach Brown continuing to coach with a big lead and making sure there was no slack given to start that second half. And that's what you want. That's what you want from this coaching staff. As White Sneakers says, let's pull up White Sneakers. With this young team and good depth, you can attack all game. Yep. With this depth, you can attack all game. Akash jumps in. Mike Brown does an excellent job in calling timeouts. Notice that throughout the season. He started this in the preseason, right? Like in the preseason, 1 minute into a quarter, timeout. 30 seconds into a quarter, timeout. If he doesn't like what he sees, he calls the timeout and he straightens those guys out on the sidelines. You know, that's what he does. That's what he does. We got a bunch of the beams. We've got my guy, Brad Clayton, saying, fire the laser. I mean, we just got a bunch of this stuff. How about this one? How about my guy, Anatoly Kutsi, the beam team? Hashtag the beam team's in. Sato. Seen Harlem Globetrotters. There's so many comments jumping in and out. I've seen Harlem Globetrotters games that are more competitive. I mean, this is just a beautiful thing. A beautiful thing. Let's have some fun, shall we? Have you looked at the plus-minus numbers? So, if you want to frame this, for the next, I don't know, week. I mean, we don't want to throw any parades just yet. But if you want to frame this, Domantas Sabonis is plus-minus tonight, plus 44. Plus 44. Domantas Sabonis was a plus 44. Harrison Barnes, HB, who had a quiet 16, 5 of 8 from the floor. Harrison Barnes, HB, plus 33. Kevin Huerter, over under 38.5. What do you guys think on the comments? Over and under, quickly, give it to me. Over under 38.5 for Kevin Huerter tonight when it comes to his plus minus. While I'm waiting for that, De'Aaron Fox was only plus 11, and they still won by 32 points. How about Davion Mitchell? Davion Mitchell was a plus 26. Terence Davis was a plus 35. Sato says over. Chris White says over. B-Nut the Rock says 40. Fong Tran says, or Fong Tran, hopefully I got that right, says over. My guy Jeremy Carr says over. Lydia, what's up, Lydia? She says over. Yeah, over is right. B-Nut the Rock is right. Kevin Huerter's plus minus tonight was 40. Unbelievable. 19 points, 7 of 10 from the field, 5 of 7 from 3. He continues to ball out. He continues to be excellent. Jabari Jackson, you were right with the over. Marquez Rodriguez, you were right with the over. Dean, given the statement of the night with Kevin Huerter playing well. Yes, indeed. Kevin Huerter is playing well. The entire team played well tonight. 153, 121. Look at those plus minus numbers. You want to have fun? Minus numbers for the Kings. There wasn't many of them, right? Wasn't many of them? Nah, like 3 or 4. Let's jump to the minus numbers of the Nets. That's fun. Kevin Durant was a minus 31 tonight. Royce O'Neal. Did you know Royce O'Neal played 24 minutes? I don't even remember. I remember him breaking a 3. That's all I remember. Royce O'Neal played 24 minutes. He was minus 40. Joe Harris was minus 37. Nick Claxton was a minus 30. God rest. Sumner was a minus 20. I mean, it's unbelievable. The plus minuses. The plus minuses. 5,000 Band-Aids from Kaiser Permanente. Purple beams are shooting to the sky in Sacramento. They're scoring 153 points in a single game, the most points scored in the NBA this year. They're making a Travis mockery of the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, just unbelievable. One thing, and I see people asking, how's Keegan? Is it serious? I've seen this a few times, asking me about Keegan Murray. They said on the broadcast that it was not serious. Let's hope that it's not serious. Danny Witter jumping in saying, not a serious injury. That's what they were saying. Jared Greenberg, who we had on the show today, he reported right after the half saying it wasn't serious. They took him out. Hopefully it's just precautionary. Greenberg said that he pulled a muscle. It was a back strain. So hopefully he'll be okay and doesn't miss any time. If he does miss time, hopefully it's a very short amount of time. How about this one thing? B-Nut the Rock. Somebody called in. Mike called into the show today and said that we need to start doing Cattle's cowbells. I don't know how I feel about that. The rest of the show wanted it. Rami was in. Chris was in. JJ was all in. They want the cowbell to be the shape of my face. I said absolutely not. Cattle's cowbells? Is that something we do? The Cattle's cowbells? Is that something? I feel like we got the Band-Aids and we got the beam. But for a show, maybe the Cattle's cowbells actually works. Hopefully Keegan again is okay. Hopefully he'll be back sooner rather than later. Terence Davis changed this game around. There's no doubt. Ernesto Castillo says Kings working it out, teamwork, all in caps. And that's what it was about. It was about the team. Again, Fox at the half had 8 points and 4 assists. And you had Terence Davis playing great. You had Herter playing great. You had Domas playing great. You had HB playing pretty well. It was just, it's all hands on deck. And when you see a team working together and when you see a team picking up confidence, this is what a team can do. They can go on national television and drop 153 points. A 153 burger is what happened tonight. That's what we witnessed. The Kings, 7-6. The Kings, 7-2. If my math is right, you guys will correct me because people love correcting me. I think they're 7-2 in their last 9, right? They're 6-2. Yeah, 0-4, 6-2, 7-2. 7-2 in their last 9 games. And remember, the two in that record, the Miami Heat game, where Tyler Hero was doing the Irish jig and didn't get called for it. He was tap dancing behind the 3-point line without putting the ball on the court. Last time I checked, that's a travel. Wasn't called. And then Kevin Herter was attacked viciously by Klay Thompson with a second to go. So 9 games. You're 7-2 in the last 9. You have a 4-game win streak. 7-2 over the last 9, and those 2 losses could have been wins. We don't know what would have happened the rest of that game, but you could argue they could have been wins. Megadeth night. Cattle's cowbells make it happen. RH. Nick, you need a Kings poster behind you. Yeah, so I'm trying to figure it out. Somewhere in that general vicinity, I feel like a weatherman. Right around here, the storm's coming. It's right down there, or maybe on that door right there. We can do a Kings thing. Something. We got to figure it out. I got a lot of stuff going on in this room, but hopefully we can figure it out. My voice is dying. I'm off tomorrow. I got some personal business to tend to, so unfortunately I won't be able to talk about this game with Rami tomorrow, 3-6 on Sactown Sports, but you guys and gals got my recap. Hopefully you enjoyed it. We keep pumping these things out. McGregor is washed. I agree with you, Zombie Head. I got those posters when those fights were happening. I own a bar in Virginia Beach. Conor McGregor's washed. I agree with that. But anyway, so I'm off tomorrow. But again, 3-6, Cattles and Rami, Monday through Friday on Sactown Sports. And after every single game we do this, the recap show, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. If you like the breakdowns, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and you'll get notified of these recaps. We love every single one of you. We appreciate the YouTube page continues to grow because of you guys believing in us and following along. This was a heck of a lot of fun. 153, 121, everything went well, aside from Keegan, fingers crossed on his back injury. But man, oh man, talk about making a statement on national television. The Kings just did. 7-2 in their last 9. Light the beam.